past 50 Formula 1 races, Red Bull has won 41 times. But oddly enough, if you watch the race highlights, you won't see much of Red Bull's cars. They seem to be missing from the spotlight. Imagine if in football, a star player like Messi won the World Cup yet hardly anyone saw him on TV because the focus was on other teams? That's what's happening in Formula 1. Red Bull is winning a lot but not getting much attention. This raises questions about what's really going on and how it's affecting Formula 1's popularity. Why does this keep happening and what can be done to change it? Let's dive into how Red Bull's dominance might be hurting Formula 1 and what can be done to fix it. In 1995, Red Bull entered the Formula 1 arena as Sauber's sponsor. In 2005, they became the owners of the Jaguar team and created the Red Bull Racing Team. They recruited a talented engineer named Adrian Newey, and the game began to improve. The team was able to win titles in 2010 with Sebastian Vettel as their driver. Nevertheless, the new rules in 2014 turned the situation upside down, and they found their cars powered by Renault engines difficult to handle. After a difficult 7 years, 2021 was a fabulous year. The fierce competition between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen throughout the season was a showstopper, which helped to increase Formula 1's popularity. The Netflix series Drive to Survive also had a part in bringing in additional fans. In addition to that, it is necessary to keep in mind that the excitement of 2021 was specific and not the common experience in Formula 1. Yet, there is a question as to how Red Bull was able to catch up in 2021. From 2014 to 2020, Mercedes was leading the Formula 1 with a huge gap to overtake by Red Bull. Regardless of the fact that they tried so hard in design and engineering, they couldn't catch up with the Silver Arrows as fast as they did. The world turned around when FIA and F1 introduced a new regulation that affected the car's floors, which were aimed to be slower by reducing the downforce. These alterations mainly worked in favor of the Red Bull's car, giving it an edge over the Mercedes' one, thus making the fight between the two teams for the championship much more exciting. In the end, Max Verstappen became the 2021 world champion, which resulted in the highest level of drama and excitement for the fans all over the globe. The 2021 season brought a substantial growth of F1 popularity, with a 4% increase in total TV audience, reaching 1.55 billion people. The last race in Abu Dhabi decided the title and attracted 108.7 million viewers, which is 29% more than 2020. The Netherlands and the USA experienced a large increase in viewership and the number of people who watched the game. Underneath this wave of fresh fans, anticipation was high for the 2022 season, with new regulations that would bring about tighter racing and a competitive field. The beginning of the 2022 season seemed hopeful, with Mercedes having problems under the new regulation, and Red Bull and Ferrari being the fastest teams. Nevertheless, Red Bull had early reliability troubles with double mechanic DNFs and some problems for Max Verstappen in the first few races. However, they were quick to settle their differences and went on to win the season with a massive margin over their competitors. Max Verstappen won 14 out of 22 races for Red Bull, helping them to achieve the top spot in the championship. Ferrari was fast, but he was also prone to making mistakes, which enabled Red Bull to have it easy on the track. Having a good start in the season, however, Ferrari's performance later in the summer break was getting worse, and Red Bull was the dominant team in the championship. Red Bull appeared to be at peace with himself, which was quite a contrast to how he used to look. With 2023 knocking on the door, knock knock knock, we all wished for relief from the monotony of one team being the best in the racing. However, the actual problem turned out to be even more challenging than we could have ever imagined. To them, when they made the announcement about the new rules for the sport, people were eager to see cars that are not the same, racing styles that are different, and teams that are victorious. However, most overlooked a crucial figure, Adrian Newey. He's the brains of Red Bull's engineering, which is led by him as the team's chief technical officer. But it's a task for which I'm well placed, having led my team to 12 F1 Constructors titles and Drivers' Championships, and also many other major race wins. The connection between Newey, Red Bull's current dominance, and the new rules boils down to one thing: the air cushion. The emergence of new regulations was like a dream of Adrian Newey coming true. Ground effect had been a major part of his driving, and now it was making a big comeback in Formula 1 after almost 4 decades. This was an ideal situation for Newey, who had studied aeronautics and astronautics and had written his thesis on ground effect only. Being a veteran of this ground effect racing cars in the 80s and with his technical prowess, they were way ahead of the others. Although ground effect was banned, Newey was still creating Formula 1 cars with strong aerodynamics, for example, the Williams FW17 and the Red Bull RB6. To be precise, Newey is a genius, or probably the best one in the field of aerodynamics. However, the situation is not as bad as it seems. In 2023, Red Bull not only got faster with RB18, but they took it a step further with RB19. It had 21 out of 22 victories that year. Conquer or what? We didn't know if any team like Ferrari or Mercedes would be able to challenge them, but they didn't. Aston Martin turned out to be the most serious challenger to Red Bull's dominance, which was quite unexpected. Dan Fellows, who was nabbed from Red Bull, had some inside secrets that he brought to Aston Martin's green team. Nevertheless, it was Max Verstappen's lightning-fast speed, impeccable accuracy, and exceptional consistency that really made him stand out from the rest of the competition. At the beginning, there was the confidence of a spectacular fight between Verstappen and his teammate Perez, who won 2 of the first 4 races. However, the speed of Perez dropped down by the middle of the race and Verstappen continued to be ahead. While some other teams were looking for their way out, Red Bull continued to win. In the Singapore Grand Prix, they were hit by a stumble. The driver's car adjustments to the straight track's curbs were not effective as they failed to reach the podium. Carlos Sainz managed to win the only race in the season that was not Red Bull. Notwithstanding this failure, Verstappen equaled the record by scoring his 3rd title in a row. He succeeded in setting many records, like coming 3rd on the list of wins in career, breaking his own record for most wins in a season, and achieving the most consecutive wins. His supremacy was evident from his long list of achievements, such as leading more than 1,000 laps in a season, securing the first 1-2 finish in the Drivers' Championship, and setting records for consecutive wins from pole and most wins from pole in a season, and so on. Everyone knows that it wasn't the most exciting season for viewers, and this lack of entertainment had negative consequences beyond just the track. The discontent with Formula 1 has led many to explore other motorsport series, such as IMSA and the World Endurance Championships, where close racing and thrilling finishes are the norm. Formula 1 risks losing fans to these alternatives if it doesn't address the current issues. So, should Formula 1 take drastic measures to reduce Red Bull's advantage, even if it compromises the fairness of the sport? Ideas range from banning key personnel like Adrian Newey to opening up the rulebook for more innovation. Some even suggest artificial wet races to spice up the competition. Ultimately, Formula 1 must find a balance between maintaining the integrity of the sport and keeping fans engaged. Otherwise, it risks losing its position as the pinnacle of motorsport.